Alright, so find you. Eco support. Okay. Alright, so game started, right? So you are a Nico support. It is Twin Trin, Twisted Fate, Sivir, Camille, Shaco, Tristana, Misfortune, and Pike. Alright. See how this goes. Nothing's happening. You guys actually kind of stacked, so that's fine, I guess. Just you definitely don't want to invade into their comp, so this is fine. Kind of want to guard to make sure that they're not invading into you. Not too much to do at this point. You're really just trying to make sure they don't invade. Your jungler is starting top though, so once you get here, you guys can leave. So, so you're still here and your Sivir's still here, but your jungler is starting top side. You can see that on the bottom of the screen there. So see how the wave is almost crashing? Your advantage here is to say like, okay, so you're assuming without seeing anything. See how you see Camille topside? Since you see Camille topside, that means you know that she's not leashing. If she's not leashing, that means that your bot lane must be leashing, right? So that should be like a trigger in your head to say, oh crap, my enemy bot lane is leashing. That means they're not going to be in lane. So I get a free advantage to sprint to lane and get these minions first because they're not going to be there. And you can get a level lead before they do, which is huge in lane. That's like really, really, really important. Now, obviously, if you had to leash for your jungler, you wouldn't do that. You would just stay in leash because that's more important overall. But you should notice those like 3 tricks. Like, okay, I know my jungler's starting top, so that means I can leave if I want to. I know I see Camille topside, which means I know that their bot lane's leashing. And because of those 2 things together, you know that you can leave and the enemy bot lane's not there. So you should be already like running to bot lane right now and trying to get there sooner. So, okay, see how the wave crashes? And you guys, the Sivir doesn't even move until the wave crashes. What you should be doing is just basically something I said, like like spam ping the wave and like tell Sivir to get down there because you guys need to have been there already. And you're going to waste all this. Yeah, you're just completely wasting time right now. So you could have already killed all 3 of these minions and killed the backline, and Misfortune wouldn't have been there. And then by the time you guys did that, and Misfortune showed up, she was alone. So you could have just 2v1'd her and pushed her off the wave. So like what you just did, except you would have already had all these minions. So see how like much further ahead you guys would have been? So that's the first thing I'm definitely gonna say. Just like, and that can tie into a theme of that I'm gonna probably try and touch on in this review is map awareness. And that word is very general and it means a lot of things, but the way that I'm going to use the word is like being able to look at the map and all the information that's available to you through vision and then making a conclusion about the game due to that. This is something that a lot of people don't do, and especially when you're in iron, bronze, silver, it's from my experience, people focus mainly on their individual mechanics and they kind of tunnel vision on their lane or their champ or their matchup and don't use the extra information to give them input. So as a perfect example, you saw Camille top, which means the enemy wasn't was leashing. Your Tryndamere started top. So those are the tips that you got that should have caused you to come bot and get an advantage. And I'm going to try and keep pointing out things like that in the game where there's something you can notice that maybe you will notice from now on after watching the review. Okay, so you may or may not do this. I'm just going to say it anyway because I want you to learn from this experience. You know Misfortune just backed, right? So I'm going to turn all vision on for a second just so that we can see. So you know Misfortune just backed because you heard the back animation and you pushed her and you made a really good call of catching her out, chunking her out, and forcing her back. That was a great play by you. But that means you know she's back here. So I turned the vision on so you can just like physically see on the map where she is, but you don't need the vision to know that. You know she backed, so it means you know she's still in her base. you need to shove this wave as fast as possible, because when you get your minions, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So the laning phase is basically a competition to see which pair, in this case your bot lane versus the enemy bot lane, can get more gold and experience and get more pressure on the tower before the game unfolds into mid game, where everyone starts swapping and rotating and moving around and focusing on objectives, right? So your entire goal in the laning phase is to get more gold and more experience than your opponents. The most basic and easiest way to do that is to get more farm, right? Whether that's on you or on your AD carry, your job is still to get more farm for your lane as a collective, right? So there's two ways to get a farm advantage. Either A, you can just farm more yourself, or B, you can deny farm from your enemy lane, right? So your goal here, all these 6 minions, you don't want Misfortune to get these. So what you need to do is you need to push this wave, which means you need to kill all these red minions as fast as possible, which will cause your side of the wave to push that way. And once they get within tower range, let's say tower range is like here, once these minions walk within range of tower range, the tower will kill them, which means it's denying all that golden experience from Misfortune. And that's when you get a situation where like your Sivir ends up really far ahead in farm. Not even because of her, it's because you were trying to help push the wave. Now you don't want to deny farm from the Sivir. You should not be taking this farm yourself. But what you should be doing is allowing Sivir to take the farm. So what does that mean? That means that you can either chunk out this Pyke and force Pyke back, which allows Sivir to safely farm all these minions, right? Or you can auto the minions that are at full health to get them like a little low to make them easy for Sivir to finish off. The autoing part is tricky because that requires synergy between you and your AD carry, because if Sivir is focused on this minion and then you auto this one really low, one of your minions might actually kill that before Sivir. So be careful about that one, or at the very least just only auto it like once each so you don't put them low enough where Sivir has to now like try and race over and get everything. But there's just the idea of you making sure you can push this wave under tower to deny Misfortune farm is huge. So I'm going to see if you end up doing it, but I wanted to point it out before I see what happens. Yeah, so like this should be being pushed. This should not stay here. Notice how the tower's not getting any of these minions and the wave's coming back out. This is really bad. And now Misfortune's back. Okay, so I'm gonna stop. I'm glad I pointed it out because it's not what you guys ended up doing, and I want to show you what happened as a result of not doing that. So we're gonna go back. We're gonna play from here, and we are going to. So here we are. So these are the minions. Right here. You're gonna watch. You're not gonna push this wave. Notice how the tower isn't getting any of these at all. So these should already be way under tower. And that will also allow this next wave back here to end up going really, really far up. See how Misfortune came back and she didn't lose any farm? Or maybe she lost like three minions, but she could have lost 6, right? So this is something where Sivir's up 17 to Misfortune's 4. This could have like been further extended, right? So this is obviously going to happen whenever Misfortune backs, because Misfortune was backed for like, I don't know, let's say 30 seconds, 40 seconds. She wasn't in lane. So Sivir was free farming for like 40 seconds. So Sivir should have a lead naturally, but she could have a higher lead. I'm going to go back a little more just so that we can... This is what I wanted. All right. Alright, so like this is good. But now this is where you need to like hard push this wave. Right now, this is where you know Misfortune just backed, and your entire goal is to get these blue minions under tower so that tower kills them, and Misfortune does not get the golden experience. Putting your enemy behind, in some cases, is it better than getting yourself ahead. Sivir's already ahead. Think about it that way. So what you need to do now is keep Misfortune behind and keep her from coming back and keep her weak to make it easier to stay ahead. So you don't do that. You let this wave come out and you slow it down. This should all be dead right now, and this should all be going under tower. See how you guys are both kind of sitting off and not doing anything? All this time you wasted, look where Misfortune is on the map now. Miss Fortune is basically at the tower. She was right here. So she walked all the way down lane, and you guys got 3 minions, and then stood here, and then just did nothing. So that's a... Try to keep this mindset when you go into future games. Like, when you find yourself in this position next time, always hard shove that wave to deny the farm from the enemy AD carry. That will give you a lot of leads in lane, and it will make the laning phase easier, because the other thing I want you to notice is look at the level of Misfortune. Level 2, level 3, level 3, level 2. The second that Misfortune gets here, you guys can kill her. You both have a level lead. You both have an extra... You both have pressure in lane. The only thing you need to worry about now is their jungler. They have a Shaco jungle that you don't see on the map. He's in base right now, but you're not going to see that because your view is going to look like this, right? So the only thing you have to worry about is a Shaco who's going to jump over this wall and then come gank you. So as long as you can put a ward right here, I'll get rid of that for you. A ward right here, you're all set to stay pushed up in this lane and then destroy this Misfortune the second she gets back here. What ends up happening is that you that's your clone. Your Sivir, unfortunately, overextends, but you don't have to be this far back. So, again, level 3, level 3, level 2, level 2. You should not be this scared of the Pyke Misfortune. Yes, you want to be able to dodge the Pyke hook, but see how you ran. Let's say Sivir was here, you were here. You ran all the way down here. Sivir should not have ran forward, but you running this far away, look at how much of a gap is between you two now. That's too much. Especially because you really shouldn't be that scared in the first place of people that are a level down. You guys still win the all-in here, unless you kind of separate yourselves and make it a different situation. So what you should have done, run side to side to make sure you dodge the Pyke hook, but don't run away, because see how the distance would have been much closer than it ended up being, and then that means you can still come back and help out Sivir after the Pyke misses his hook, right? Now that you're this far away, you can't help Sivir if she gets collapsed on, which is what happens here. So these are all just like little things I want to point out that can help make your laning phase better, because laning phase is very hard, but also very, very important, because it basically sets up... Alright, your Sivir's just dumb. But it basically just sets up the rest of the game, right? Like, if you win lane and you come out a level and a half ahead, a whole item up, 2 kills ahead, that changes what kind of mid game you play, as opposed to if you come out of lane losing, behind, have to scrape around. Like, it's a completely different game after laning phase, depending on if you win or lose laning phase. Alright, so here, we're letting them push in, because Sivir got chunked out, that's fine. So you know Pyke's in the bush. That's a really good trade. Now we back off. So this is where... we get a little... yeah. What stream are we going to do? So this is where that ward would have come in handy. You have one? It looks like you didn't have one up. So... oh, there was a ward there. Hold on. Was that placed there before, or was that... Alright, so you do have a ward here, so we're gonna see what happens. Okay, so right here. So Pyke is here. You know that because he threw a hook and he missed. If you look at the wave, let's get rid of that. Your wave right now, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means the wave's even. It's not going to push one way or the other. It's going to stay basically right here. So, see how low Sivir is? You know that she's low because that's why you guys backed off in the first place. And that's why that you're no longer shoving on her tower and that they are kind of like being able to farm right now, right? So you know that Sivir dies to a gank. If the Shaco comes in here, you basically know she's dead. Her health is way too low. They have CC, they have ranged ability, and they have Shaco who's going to use his Q to become invisible and come behind you, right? So at the same time, you see Tryndamere here. So this should be a key to you, right? Tryndamere and Shaco, neither one of them have come bot yet, right? They both went topside. They both did their clears. They both did their thing. So if Tryndamere eventually is now finally down bot, there's a good chance Shaco is also down bot in the same spot Tryndamere is, but on the other side of the map, right? And that ends up being exactly where he is. So that's why I turned on the all fog of war. So I'm turned back off. So this is what you see, right? So this is your ward. Your ward does not pick up Shaco, but you still know he's there. Why do you know he's there? Because the same thing I just said. Tryndamere and Shaco, neither one of them came bot lane once this game. That means you know they're both on the same route. They both went top first. Okay? That also means that, or at the very least, it means when they did their initial route and they backed, they're basically mirroring each other, is a better way of wording it. So if Tryndamere is finally coming bot, you can make a good assumption that means Shaco is also finally coming bot. And if we turn on all fog of war, we can see that's accurate. Shaco is basically in the exact same spot Tryndamere is, but on the other side of the map. So you should have a thought that when you see Tryndamere pathing down to you, because you haven't seen Shaco yet, you have to be thinking Shaco's probably here too. And now if you say, okay, well, if Tryndamere's here and Shaco's here, that's a 3v3 fight in the next 5 to 10 seconds. That's when you have to look at your lane. So now you look at your lane and you say, okay, well, everyone's level 3, and we're the only one with the health disadvantage. I started there. I'm so sorry. However, that means that you lose the 3v3. If Shaco comes here and Tryndamere comes here, you guys will lose. Sivir will get picked off and she'll die, or you will have to get in front of Sivir to block her from dying, which means you'll die because she's so low. So since you lose the 3v3 fight that's going to come, you don't want to be pushing this wave up. What you actually want to do right now is basically fall back to about here, let them push the wave to you, and then catch the wave when it comes down here. And the reason why is because Tryndamere is right here. So if you fall back to this spot and Shaco comes all the way down to gank you, that means he's going to be overexposing himself to Tryndamere, and he's probably just going to get forced out before the gank happens. Or at the very least, all three of you, it'll be Sivir, you, and Tryndamere, will be right around here, and Shaco is here, and his teammates are there. Nothing's going to happen. Shaco's going to have to run into all three of you, in which case he's just going to die. So when you see this situation happen on the map, again, I said the theme of this VOD review is probably going to be looking at the map, looking at the information, and then figuring out what's going on based off that. Because I think that's going to help you out a lot. You should know that your first instinct is to run back and then spam ping the Sivir to run back with you, because you guys are about to get ganked. And now we're gonna watch the gank happen. So this is a good trade, but again, you knew Shaco was coming, so it's just really, really unlucky that you couldn't get the misfortune, and then the Shaco came in and cleaned up. But it's gonna happen. So now we're running back. This is all fine. And like I said, you haven't really made many mistakes yet, but I want to really go deep into these smaller details because they're things that you probably aren't even thinking about. And now that I'm introducing these ideas to you, you'll start to notice them in your games more, and it'll help you out a lot. Alright, so you're looking to go help out this fight. Yeah, that's fine. I don't think you would have really got anything there, but you weren't putting yourself in too much danger, and just the chance to try and help the Tryndamere, that's fine. This is fine. So this is good. This time you have the wave under their tower, so the misfortune did lose a lot of farm there. Alright, you get hooked here. You disengage. It could have been worse. At this point, I think the Sivir like really needs the back. You don't want to really be here anymore. Yeah, you definitely don't want to be here. Okay, so I'm going to stop you again. So, next point. Let's go back a little bit. I'll wait for this to end. Okay. So, where are we? So we just saw the Pike die, right? Alright, I'm gonna freeze and we're gonna count minions. Counting minions is a very I'm gonna do this a lot. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the red team's minions have 9. You guys have 6. That means that if these minions just auto attack each other, the red minions are eventually going to win because they're doing more damage per second because they have more attacks than you guys do. So what that means is that if you, and because they only have 3 more, it's not like there's some giant massive wave that's going to push this in 5 seconds and go to the tower. It's going to be a slow push. So the fight's going to be pretty even, but eventually the red team's going to win and they're going to slowly march down the lane. What this slow push means is that if you back right now, well, by the time you get back, you go to here and you get all the way back to lane, these minions are going to end up being like right around here for you to just pick up and get the farm. And the reason why that's important is because if you look at Sivir's items right now, so Sivir is still on her original Doran's Blade. She has nothing else in her inventory, and the Misfortune has Doran's and then double longsword, boots, and a dagger. If you were to try and compare gold, so let's, oh, I can't draw on that. So let's say that Sivir's item has about $450 gold worth, right? Misfortune has 450 plus 300 plus 300 plus 700. So she's at 1,300 gold advantage in terms of items. That means she has 1,300 gold more of stats. You will never, ever, ever win a trade unless they just straight up walk into you and int. So that means that you want to look for a time for this Sivir to back. Sivir wants to back right now. Like she has stayed in lane longer than she should have. So this is a perfect time to back. And again, why am I pointing this out? It's the Sivir's mistake, not yours. Well, as the support, she's your lane partner. So if Sivir makes a mistake, it hurts you too, right? So you need to be able to notice these things and say, okay, Sivir, you need to back right now. You have no items, and this is a perfect spot to back because this wave is going to slow push right into us. So we can just pick it right up when we get back, and we're going to lose no minions. So you need to start pinging Sivir, and to like, don't ping question mark because it'll be BM, but maybe ping like the danger ping, and then type in chat, Sivir, go back, and then just don't say anything else. And then let the Sivir back, you hold the wave, and then when the Sivir gets all the way back up here, now she's got her items to match MF, she didn't lose any of the minions, and you guys are no longer in a bad spot where you are no mana, half health, and a lot of items down. So that's going to be the next. Again, it's just like try to find these like states in the game where you're like, okay, I know Sivir needs to back. What do I think would be a good time to back? Noticing the slow push is a good time to back. That's what you want to see. So now see how Sivir's stuck in lane and she has no items and she has half health and she has no mana. You guys just don't win trades now unless, like I said, unless they just walk into you and int, you guys will not win anything here because you're not strong enough. See, I had to waste heal there. So you guys would not have wasted heal if you weren't put in a bad opportunity, which wouldn't have happened if you had backed and reset the wave. Because now, even though Sivir's higher level, actually, Misfortune leveled up, but Sivir was ahead. She got 6 first. You guys still couldn't do anything because she's so much weaker than the MF in terms of items. The MF is way stronger than the Sivir right now. Even though she's down 12 farm, Sivir has a 12 farm advantage, but she hasn't spent any of that gold yet. So she has a theoretical 12 farm advantage that's banked in her inventory right now, but she's not actually any stronger. She hasn't bought any items yet. So that's what you're going to have to think about here. And again, like, I don't want to criticize the Sivir too much, but as a support, it's really, it's you and the AD carry. It's never just you. And if you can notice these things and kind of help and tell the Sivir to back when she should and stuff when she should like that, that's going to be something that helps you out a lot. Alright. Alright, so now you guys are finally backing. Now, if the other team was smart, they'd freeze the wave right now, but you're in bronze, so I don't think they're going to do that, so I'm not even really going to comment on that yet. Alright, so you're walking back to lane. This is fine. Again, nothing's really been happening too much, in terms of... There was like one big jungle... Alright, so TF's coming. So you want to stop their backs, that's good. You found MF. Unlucky she ran back. They probably had a ward here and saw TF roaming, so they backed off. Good. Alright, this is really good. So, even though this is not a mistake, I'm going to point it out because this is a good thing, and I want to make sure that you like know why this is a good thing. So, you saw TF come down, which means you know that you have more people around Dragon, right? You know that Tryndamere was in their jungle right here. So, TF came down, Tryndamere came over, and you were here with Sivir. You just saw MF was alone, so you know Pyke's not here, and then you chased MF away, so you know MF's not there. Excuse me. So that means that you guys have 4 people around Dragon, including Sivir, who's still in lane, but she can rotate the Dragon if a fight breaks out, right? And you know, you see Camille top, you see Tristana mid, and you know that MF and Pyke just backed. So you recognize that they don't have enough people here, and you do. So this is like an immediate, we're going to take Dragon right now. So you did the right thing, but I wanted to point it out so like you know why it's the right thing, so that in future games you can keep making this decision the right way. So this is fine. You go back down. Alright, so you push the wave. That's good. We need to stay up here, though. We don't want to back off here that much. Okay, so when you push that wave, right, you want to stay up here so you can keep harassing them and keep pressuring them and keep with your poke, keep them off the wave. This turned into a big skirmish. All right, I'm gonna rewind this in a second because we're gonna go back. All right, there's 2 things I want to say then. So before that, here. Okay, so you push the wave. Good. This is a good thing, is what you wanted to do. So now the wave's underneath, and they're losing farm to the wave, losing experience to, to the tower. What you want to do, though, is that Sivir has a ranged Q and a spell shield. So she can't get jumped on by Pyke, assuming she notices to use her spell shield, right? You have a ranged Q and a ranged... Crap. You have the Q bind and then the other ranged ability. It's either EUW. I can't remember which one it is, but you know what I mean. You have ranged poke and harass, right? So you guys can stand right here and then fling your Q and your other ranged abilities. So this is Sivir's, and then these are your 2 abilities to harass them under tower and make it hard for them to step up here and get these minions. Because if they're getting harassed, they're going to back away. Once they back away, they are now out of range of these minions that are getting attacked by the tower. So what you're doing is you're making these guys make a choice. They're saying, do I want to stand up here to get the farm, but then get harassed by your abilities? Or do they want to stand back here to be safe, but then miss all this farm? So by you not stepping up and actually harassing them, you're not doing anything here, because you're basically pushing the wave and then backing off. And when you back off, they're not under any pressure anymore. If they're not under any pressure, they're just going to sit under tower and last hit all the minions. Yes, it'll do some damage to their tower, but it's not going to do enough. Like, it's not really going to matter at this point. So you did part 1, which was pushing the wave under turret. But part 2 is staying right here and harassing them and forcing them to back off, and that's what causes them to lose all this farm. It's the combination of them backing off and then the tower killing them. What you have to be careful about is Pyke's Q, obviously, right? Pyke has a dash, he has a stun, and then he has his grab. So, you want to stay up here, but make this your like line of scrimmage, right? This is like the furthest up you go. And then as Pyke tries to advance on you, you back off from there. But then as Pyke comes back to help MF, you go right back up to here. It's like a a mirror or a shadow, right? You kind of get that distance from Pyke where he can't, you're just out of range of his grab, and then as he moves up, you move back with him, and then move forward with him. So you're constantly harassing him, but not allowing him to get an ability off on you. The only other thing you have to think about now is the jungler. So whenever you're up here harassing, you open yourself up to the jungle gank. However, you see Shaco here, so you know he's not around. So this is a free opportunity for you to harass and push them off the wave and make them lose farm. That's what you should be doing here because of all the things that, all those clues we just talked about. So you should be up here harassing them. See how they didn't lose any farm from that? Even though you pushed it, it didn't matter because they were able to just free farm and last hit on their tower. So if you push it, so again, we want to be, okay, this is good. All right, so this is what, hold on, this is exactly what I was just saying where you need to do the mirror. So now you step up here. I'll let it play for a second. So you push the wave back up and you step up, but then you don't respect Pyke's abilities. So right, you miss Q, so you're safe for a little bit. Here, right here. This is perfect. So Pyke's range is from here to here-ish, right? That means that Pyke was here, so you started to walk up a little bit, but once Pyke moves this way, you need to move that exact same distance back that way. You keep going forward, and this is what gets you killed. So Sivir's in the right spot. Sivir is out of range of Pyke, and she also has Spell Shield up. I don't know why she used Spell Shield right now. Maybe she thought Pyke was going to try and like quickly Q her, or maybe she misclicked it. But regardless, Sivir's safe. Misfortune's not a threat from there, and Pyke is out of range. You walked right up to the Pyke. So you are causing this gank now, or not gank, you're causing this bad trade, which is going to pull Sivir over to try and help you out, and it's going to potentially get both of you killed. So again, like I said before, you want to step up and harass, but you need to keep that distance. Your danger when you're harassing is Pyke's Q and Pyke's E. So if you're in range of those abilities, you're in the wrong spot. You don't want to sprint away because now you're not harassing, but you don't want to get within range of his Q. There's like a fine line of like how far up can I go without putting myself in danger, right? So that's what messed up here, and is what's going to end up causing this fight to break out. So you die. Why? Back to Sivir. You die, and it causes Sivir to have to back off. So now you turn what was a super advantageous position of you harassing them under tower and making them lose farm to the exact opposite. You're dead, they got golden experience from that, and now they're harassing you under tower. And I'm going to point out, see how they stay up? See how they are staying up to harass you. They didn't just push the wave and back off like you did. So not only are they now in the same spot that you were in, but they're going to make this Sivir lose a lot of farm. Which is what you guys wanted to do when you had them here. So TF comes and ganks, that's good by him. Pushes them off, and he frees up the pressure from Sivir. I wouldn't stay and fight this if I were them. This is pretty dangerous, but the initial gank was good because it freed up all the pressure. So you're walking back. They're still fighting. Okay, so the Pyke just is terrible. A good grab by TF and Sivir. And now that's a really good stun on Misfortune by you, and you should force her to back off here. Yes, okay, so you force Misfortune to back off. That's good. The free tower plates, that's good. What you want to be doing here. Okay, so there's one more little tip here. So, do you have any control wards at all? You do. Okay, perfect. Okay, so you have 2 control wards, so that's good. What you want to do is, you know that Pyke just got backed off the turret, right? So that means that you know Pyke just died. Sorry, not backed off the turret, died. You know Pyke just died, and you know that you just forced Misfortune to back because you caught her out, which was a great play by you. That means that all this pressure is completely open. You know that no one's here. So when you guys are under tower, go back 15 seconds. No, a little further back. Here, okay. So when you're here, you know that Misfortune just backed and Pyke died. So there's absolutely nobody over here, right? So what you want to do is walk this way and start placing wards. as a bot laner, one of the specifically the support, because that's kind of your job to do the warding. It's not only you, but because your item synergizes with wards, it comes on your job. You really, 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 really need to ward, and it's one of the easiest ways to improve your game because it. So in this scenario, right, Sivir is free hitting turret. You're adding damage, but not that much damage, so it's more beneficial since you know that Pike and Misfortune are both missing. You know they're either dead or back, so they're not going to be here. You are completely free to walk this way and ward. You want to put a ward in this bush right here, and ideally you also want to put a ward over in this area of the jungle so you will spot Shaco and catch his route. And what that's going to do is now later in the game, you're going to have a big bright light here and here so that if Shaco is ever in this bot side jungle, you're going to spot him out and you're going to know. And that's going to save you more times over. And if you start doing this, making it a habit every game, because when you can pick out the enemy jungler, it doesn't matter if he's ganking you or not. If you know he's coming, you just back off. And it completely nullifies any power that he has to try and gank you and catch you off guard if you have just like a single ward here. Once he pops up into either of those two camps, he walks over your ward, you guys see him, and you immediately go, nope, I'm going back. Or nope, I'm rotating to the drag or the jungle, or I'm going to back and then go mid. Or it tells you that if I don't need to be this pushed up in lane anymore, I'm just going to back off and not die to a gank. And it saves you a lot. So this is like a freebie, a free opportunity because they have no pressure on you to get some wards in their jungle, and that's like a golden rule. If you can get wards in their jungle or around objectives to spot out the jungler, that is huge. It's going to give you guys such an advantage in like actually making good decisions on when to be pushed, when to go for an objective, when to stay, when to do this, when to do that, because you're going to know exactly where the jungler is, and they're not going to know where yours is. That's like the key. So you guys should back. This is not, you don't want to stay here anymore. They're being bad by chasing you and wasting time. And all right, good. So you're backing now. This is good. So now we are going to come back again. We don't have the all right, but that, so we don't have oh wait. Okay, that's good. That's good. You can, all right. Oh, I would not. Okay, so that started off really, really good, and then you guys chased the fight. It was more Sivir's fault than your fault. So I'm not really gonna say much there, but just the initial fight went well, and then once you got those kills, you got really, not you, but like the Sivir in this case got really, really greedy and tried chasing and just kind of tunnel visioned. It didn't realize that there was a Tristana and Shaco is an assassin. He has a lot of burst damage. So she kind of overextended, got away from you in Tryndamere, and killed herself there. So that's an unlucky, but it is what it is. And now we're gonna see how to play around that. So honestly, at this point, I'd probably just back. You're not gonna stop the Tristana here. Oh, she's really bad. Oh my god. All right, so you got really lucky. Jesus. Okay, so that worked out really well in your favor. I'm very surprised that worked out, but it worked out. So the reason why I was saying I would have backed if I were you is because you had, if this is your health bar, you had about that much health maybe, and because it's a Tristana with jump, if you walk up to the wave, she's just going to jump away and then walk back and continue hitting the tower. So you're going to have to keep throwing your Qs out on minions to try and stall her off. And she's going to, if she was good, she would just keep jumping back and coming back over and over again. And you really wouldn't do anything. And then by the time that Sivir walked all the way back up to join you, both of their laners would be back as well. And then it would be you and Sivir where you only have half health. And then, so it'd be like Sivir at full, you at half, and then they would both be at full health, and you'd be at a huge disadvantage in lane after that. So normally you would have wanted to back there. It worked out in your favor because you saved the tower because Tristana just ate your Q and kept attacking within tower range. So then since she attacked you, the tower attacked her, and then she ate your Q and got rooted. So she should not have died there, but she did. So I'm glad it worked out. All right, so I haven't really mentioned much about roaming and going to other areas of the map, because generally what you want to do in bot lane is you want to get your tower down first, and then once your tower is down, you can start roaming to other parts of the map. So because of that, I haven't really said much about it yet, but I'm gonna try. I'm hoping you guys get your tower down soon so that I can start commenting on it. That's gonna be probably the next thing that I focus on here. All right, so we're back up. See what happens now. I'm assuming you're waiting to buy an item. What you get? Nope. All right. Okay, so looks like Saber's about to get your tower, so you're good to not go bot this time. You don't need to be bot anymore. I would just leave. She's dead. Hold the tower. If you're typing to teammates, don't do that. That's what you're doing. Just stop typing. It's not gonna help. Either what you're saying is either right or wrong. It doesn't matter because they're not gonna listen most of the time anyway. Don't take yourself out of the game and waste time where you could be doing something useful to type to teammates. It's completely useless. It's not gonna help. I don't see the chat in the replay, but I'm assuming that's what you're stopping to do. Just don't do that, because you've just wasted like almost a whole minute between when you were in base to here. You've done nothing so far. You walked to here and then stopped. Don't type to teammates. Just focus on the game. Yeah, it's been a minute and a half that you haven't done a single thing yet. Don't type to teammates. Ignore them. If you have to mute them, mute them. Because you just wasted a lot of time where you could have been somewhere else, or at least like doing something and getting pressure and getting wards. Alright, so you see a fight bot side. You're roaming to go help bot while TF dies mid. Yeah, so now that TF died, you can't pretend to be TF anymore. You're gonna go back up to mid to defend the tower against Tristana, I'm guessing. Oh, this is not smart. This is not smart at all. What are you doing? Okay. Oh, we're talking about this. Hold up. So you walking, where are you? You walking from here to go and defend the tower is fine. That in itself isn't a bad idea. However, right here, so this is your mistake. You come out here and you get to this point. What you want to do is when you come out of, like, let's just say you're coming out of like this brush, right? You want to go right there. Sit here and use your AoE damage to thin the wave out. That's what you want to do. Instead of doing that, you walk this way toward the level 12 fed Tristana, who has mobility and has way more items than you do. Even if you were Tryndamere, you still, Tryndamere is level 9. Tristana is level 12. You're level 9. Even if Tristana thinks you're Tryndamere, she shits on you right now. Like, there is no reason at all to be walking toward this Tristana. Absolutely zero reason. This does nothing positive for you, and the only possible outcome here is that you die. You're walking away from tower into minions, so the minions are all going to damage you regardless, and a fed Tristana who's 3 levels ahead of you. And like the champ you're pretending to be, Tristana just craps on that champ too. So it's like absolutely zero part of this situation is positive. And what I suspect is happening is you're probably going on autopilot. I'm sure that you weren't in the game and saw. I guarantee that you didn't like look at the lane and say, "Oh, this is a wave of fed Tristana who's 3 levels up, and I have no help. I can do this," and then walked in. I'm sure that's not what happened. I'm sure what happened was that you were like, this game's dumb, I'm getting bored, we're losing, I'm mad at my teammates for inting. You were just yelling at your teammates in chat, wasting some time. So I'm assuming that that's the kind of mindset you're in, and you turn your brain to autopilot. Once you make that switch to autopilot and you just kind of like go with the flow and kind of sit back, your eyes glaze over a little bit, you just like play and you don't really think about the situations as much, that's when you automatically just lost the game right there. Because you'll start doing stuff like this. When I'm sure you didn't do this intentionally, but I want you to relook at this situation and try to find one potential positive outcome. There isn't one. That's what I'm going to tell you right now. But I know you're not that dumb in the game, so I'm sure this is an autopilot moment where you're just kind of like, I don't care anymore. And just, you walked in, stunned the Tristana, got your all in, got her to like half health, and then she 3-shot you. So, if obviously like this critique doesn't mean much because you won't do that if you're actually trying, but like this is a ranked game. So, my critique here is less so the play itself and more so don't go to autopilot. Do not zone out of games. Do not quit games. Do not fall back and say, oh, my teammates lost me the game. The fact of the matter is you're bronze 2. That means everyone else in this game is also bronze 2. Every single mistake that I'm pointing out now that you're making, they're also doing. Or at the very least, they're doing variations of the same mistakes, right? You're all around the same skill level. It's not like you're a bronze 2 playing against a bunch of silver 3, silver 2 players and it's impossible for you to climb out because everyone else is better than you. It's no, they're all as bad as you are, but you have to be the one that makes a smart play, that thinks about the play, that is aggressive, that is one step ahead. And if you can improve your gameplay, and now you are always like consistently the better player in your games, that's when you start to climb. The hardest part about climbing in League is consistency, right? So it's a 5v5 game. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 enemies, 1, 2, you, and 2 teammates, right? That means that every single time you queue up to play League, you're gonna get, it's completely random who the 5 on your enemy team are and who the 4 on your team are. Notice how those numbers aren't even. It's 5 for them and it's 4 for you. That means that you have a much bigger impact than you think. Because if you can consistently play, let's say for the sake of argument, at a silver 3 level, if you deserve to be silver 3 right now, that means that your team, every single time you play solo queue, would have an advantage. Because it'd be 4 bronze 2s and a silver 3. Whereas their team is 5 bronze 2s. You would never lose. So, but that's not how it works. It's not consistent. You have good games, you have bad games. Everyone is like, you're up and down, right? So what you need to do is try to develop this consistency and this improvement to bring your gameplay up, because you don't need to be a gold, plat, diamond player to climb. You just need to be better than everyone else around you. So if you can make yourself a silver 3 player, you'll climb to silver 3 eventually. If you continue to kind of make these mistakes and like, this is a bronze level game. Like I look at this and I like, these are standard, like this is like a standard like decision making, the word I'm looking for, sorry, for a bronze level game. So this is probably pretty accurate to where you should be. But that being said, it's not gonna be super hard to look at this video, take the ideas in this video, and then critically look back on your own games without even needing like me or someone else to talk you over it and say, okay, well, I know from the video that I learned that when I have this situation, I do this. Do I see that again in this game? And how can I change? And you can start to evaluate games on your own and kind of start to spot your own flaws and think of your own critiques, make yourself a better player. Everyone in this game is going to be making the same mistakes you are. It's not that you're worse than anyone here, but in order to climb, you need to be better. The only consistency in the entire game, oh, that's why it's slow. The only consistency in this entire game is going to be you from game to game. And there are definitely games where your teammates make it too hard to win. That is 100% a thing that happens. However, there's also games where your teammates suck and you can still carry and win the game. So just because you have a top lane or a mid lane that's like feeding their ass off, it does not mean that the game's over. By you saying, oh, game's over, and going autopilot, now you're also feeding. And now you have 3 people that suck and not just 2 people that suck. So try to avoid doing that. That's going to be a huge thing to help you climb. Yeah, we're going to see. Alright, so where are we off to now? We're 21 minutes in. We're down 10 kills now. But if you can see, I know you don't have access to this in the actual game. You're only 3k gold down. So like, while that's not insignificant, spread over 5 people, that's not huge either, right? Like, so the score looks like it's a lot because they're 10 kills up, but they're only 3.5, 4,000 gold up now. Like, again, it's definitely a lead, but the game's not over yet. So I don't want you to slip into that it's over, I'm going on autopilot mindset. Because it's definitely not over yet. Especially if you look at your comp, you have a Tryndamere who will scale infinitely, a Sivir who will scale basically infinitely. They have a Tristana, but like no one else in the team scales that well compared to Sivir Tryndamere, so the game is definitely not over. What are you doing here? Okay, that's good. That's a good ult. That's a good stun. Now we get out, we disengage. That was good. No, that was really good. That was fine. Okay, no, that was good. Good job. So if you look at the map, where's Tryndamere right now? He is topside. I don't know why he's backing. He should not be backing right now, but he is topside. You guys are losing. Like you're definitely behind, and you just went 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 in a team fight. Like again, you lost the team fight, and you're gonna lose a dragon too, which makes it unfortunate. But you're not getting wiped, and that team fight was 5v4. Tryndamere was top the entire time, right? So if Tryndamere's top, realistically, this Tryndamere, I think he was like literally right here when you guys were team fighting. He should have just kept going. There's absolutely no reason why he should have stopped, and that is a free tower for him. So you just went 2 for 3 in a 4v5 team fight while you're behind. And your Tryndamere, if he wasn't dumb, would have gotten a free tower and put a lot of pressure on top side, forcing them to back and answer. That's a good trade. That is not bad for the position that you're in right now in the game. Unfortunately, yes, you lose the Infernal, but you would have lost the Infernal anyway because you guys are weaker. You have a much weaker team fight right now. So it's almost like if you were going to lose it anyway, you made the best possible outcome for what could have happened there. But the Tryndamere is just not smart enough to realize he needs to keep pushing and actually get tower pressure. Or else now you just lost a team fight in Infernal and got nothing out of it. Again, the team fight was fine because it allowed the Tryndamere to get a free tower. He's just not smart enough to realize that, and he didn't do it. So now we're trying to go mid. This is fine. You're taking mid. You're sieging the tower. Be careful, Camille. That's a really good ult. That's fine. You need to stop them there. Nice job. This is the Tristana's really fed. She's gonna run you over, but that honestly, that ult, I'm gonna watch it again, but I think that team fight was played fine by you. Okay, so that's after the fight. That's the dragon. All right, here we go. Nope. There we go. Okay. Okay, so first thing I notice, your Sivir's not here, right? So just be careful. The tower's almost gone, so taking the tower is fine, but don't be so quick to like run right up until your Sivir gets here and joins us. So that's fine, but now I wouldn't rush forward anymore. So this, in my opinion, is a mistake. Your Sivir is way behind you guys, and they have 5 people that are all here, and they have a stronger team fight than you guys do. And you guys should know this going in, right? You can see on your map that Sivir's not there. You can see on your map. Let's take this mode off. Go blue. Okay, so you know Sivir's not here, and you don't have vision on anyone else. So you know there's no one top lane, there's no one bot lane, and you know no one died recently, so they're not going to be in the base coming out, right? So you see 1, 2, And now there's 1, 2, 3 more people that are somewhere in either this area or this area because they're the only last 2 places left. You know that. You just spent a lot of time taking a tower, right? That means the enemy had full vision on all of you mid lane and knew you're all mid lane. So if they were on the outer reaches of the jungle, they've already been walking to the middle since you took that tower. So now that you spent all the time taking the tower, you know they must be basically right here and right here. Like, they must be almost at you by now because they've been walking towards you the whole time since you don't see them anywhere else. But you guys still walk forward. So this is a situation where you're basically walking into a 5v4 and you know your server is not going to be there in time. So that's my one critique here, is that you could have saw this coming ahead of time, but we didn't pay attention to that. So this is unlucky. The Camille engages and just completely ruins the Quinn. I don't think your ult here is a bad idea because Camille is level 14. You are 11. You honestly probably die here if you don't ult. So because you got caught out, I think the ult's fine. This is what you need to do. And I think, if you remember correctly, you move it towards them to get as many people in the sun as possible, right? Yeah, so you have a 1, 2, 3, 4-man, 5-man. Well, technically, I think it's his clone, but you have a 5-man ult that went as perfect as possible, and you saved these 2 from dying. You are gonna die here. This is 100% you're gonna die, but that's okay. Your job is to die here and to save your team. So that is 100% a-okay. That's fine. You were caught out. You were in a bad position, and you sacrificed yourself to stun literally all 5 people and save your teammates. That's fine. I'm gonna speed this up a bit now. Alright, there's not going to be too much more to talk about in this game, I'm going to be honest, because you guys are really far behind now. So now you're not 3k gold behind, you're 5.5 behind. The kills are mounting up. They got 2 dragons. Like, this, oh, is it only an earth? Why did I say infernal earlier? I could have swore there was an infernal symbol down here. My bad then. So, I mean, this game, there's always a chance people throw, so I'm gonna speed through it, but this game should probably be over about right now. So you know they're probably rotating to Baron if they just shoved you guys in. So you gotta check it. You find them at Baron. Oh, okay, yep. This will be a positioning thing, right? So let me slow this down a little bit and find you. All right. So right here, we know that they're gonna go Baron. So they push you guys in. They got inhib. They know you're all trapped in base, so they're gonna V-line here, get some vision, and start it. So you guys know that you're running to Baron, which is good, but you don't just want to sprint. You want to think about where you're going. So right here, I'm gonna pause. Excuse me. Let's go back a little bit. Let's find you. We're gonna go up to here. And we're going to pause. Okay, so you know TF went this way. This is much more a mistake on Twisted Fate's part than a mistake on your part, but I want to point it out because a lot of being a support is trying to fix your teammates' mistakes, because you're not going to be, most oftentimes, in a hard carry role. You're going to be the one that has to either make the decisions and make the plays, or fix things and patch things up when someone else goes too far in. So TF completely overextends here. He walks up to the plant. He only has to stand right here to get the plant. I don't know why he's all the way up here. He sees 3 people, and you know there's probably 2 more somewhere around here because you know they must be on Baron, right? However, by you going this way, so when you see this here, all 3 of you really should be right here, hit this plant, and end up right here. Just to support Twisted Fate, because you know he's going to get jumped on now. He just basically opened a door and saw 3+ people on the other side of it. So he gets jumped on, he backs off, Tryndamere comes to help him, and what's going on over here? So your Sivir comes back, and she realizes she needs the help. You, on the other hand, keep going this way. This is not a good idea. So I wish I could zoom out a little bit and try and view like the whole team fight. It's the best I can do. So 1, 2, 3 enemies, and there's probably some more over here somewhere. 1, 2, 3 teammates, 4 teammates. You're a support, which means you are probably, especially in this game, the lowest level as well, because Nico can do damage, but when you're a level 11 Nico with 1.5 items, you're not going to be doing too much. So not only are you not near any of your teammates, this would be their area, 1, 2, 3, 4, to help them out, you're also on your own. You are a squishy, immobile champion with low damage. If you find anybody in this game right now, they can 1v1 you and kill you. So you going off behind your teammates on your own is just suicide. Like, there's absolutely nothing that's going to get done here. You're not going to be able to flank because you don't have enough damage to one-shot someone. You're not going to be able to flank with CC because you're not tanky enough to survive. So what you need to do here is see how Sivir was in front of you and then managed to walk all the way back. You need to walk back with her. You need to come back here with Sivir, come around this way, and then rejoin the fight. And what your team should be doing is kiting backwards to you guys and bringing the enemy team there. And now it's a 5v5 as opposed to separate fights. What I mean by separate fights is that this is more like a 1, 2, 3v1. And now you're going to go into a 1v potentially 3 if there's 2 back here and then MF turns. Your Sivir's off on her own, and the Twisted Fate and the Tryndamere are both kind of supporting this. So instead of having a 1v3, a 1v3, and then people that are like running to us, we should have, from this point, just V-lined it back this way and made it one big fight. You're going to find out what happens here because you're going to walk into some people and get killed pretty quickly. So you guys, it looks like you're losing the fight overall if he dies. Can you get her? Nice. Okay. Alright, so your team cleaned up, but you did absolutely nothing. You walked behind, got one shot, and died, and then your Tryndamere kind of came in and waved his big stick around and beat some people up, which is good. Again, it worked out well in your favor, but we didn't have to die there. We didn't really help that team fight much at all. Alright, so now we're afraid they're going to go back to Baron. Tryndamere killed the Tristana. He's getting pretty powerful. He's 7 kills now, which is good. So your thought in this game at this point, you're basically like, all right, we win with Tryndamere. Tryndamere is your win condition. He's level 14, which he was behind earlier, which Wine pointed out. So he's like back to being a good champ. He has 7 kills. Remember, a Tryndamere is basically infinitely scaling. It's not actually infinite. When you use the term infinite, you think of like Nasus and Veigar, who like their abilities literally have scaling built into them, so they can scale past level 18, past 6 items. Tryndamere scales very, very, very well. Having him be 14 with decent items and 7 kills, honestly, he could have 7 kills and 20 deaths. The fact that he's the same level as everyone else and has 7 kills is fine. Like, that's a good spot to be in for him. So you basically want to play around Tryndamere 24/7 at this point. You have a really good split pusher in Twisted Fate because he has his ult that he can roam anywhere on the map anytime. Tryndamere is one of the best split pushers in the entire game for solo queue. And then you have Quinn, who roams really well, and Sivir, whose ultimate can engage team fights or can roam. So your job right now is to try and support this. We're going to split push around Tryndamere and try to turn this game around and win playstyle. And that's what you want to go going forward. So you guys kill Pyke. Go all back. Have vision on Baron, so you're not worried about it yet. They got Dragon, and you're mid lane clearing waves. It's not that. I mean, someone has to do it. Now you're bot. You're helping out the fight. This is good. You guys, someone needs the back eventually because those minions are going to kill your base. DF got it. Yeah, there's not too much to do here because you're kind of just trying to come from behind at this point. Yeah, this is fine. This is pretty standard. You're building back up. Okay, so this is, I'm gonna point something out. Where you guys remember how earlier I said your job is to play around the split push? You have an amazing split pusher, and then two people that roam really, really, really well, and Sivir, who you really want to use her ultimate for team fights, but you can also use it for roaming if you need to, or like an escape, right? So you have a really good team set up for this split push style. Tryndamere is bot lane split pushing. Your win condition in this game is to allow him to split push as much as possible. I want to point something out to you. Again, you don't have access to the gold in game, so in game you see 30 to 36. In reality, your team is now winning. You are 500 gold ahead, which doesn't seem like a lot, but um, you also have more potential gold in the field. What I mean by that is that you get gold for farming and killing enemies, right? You also get gold for taking turrets. You've taken 3, they've taken 5. So your team has more potential objective gold left because you have more towers to take still, and you're already ahead in gold. So that means that you guys are in a perfect spot to outscale this game and to actually win this game. As of right now, you guys are winning the game, and it's in your hands to either win it or to throw. So what I'm getting to is that, remember, your job is to let Tryndamere split push. So right now, as 4-man mid, you guys want to try and hold them mid as much as possible, and to prevent them from going bot and answering Tryndamere, right? Once they answer Tryndamere, they're going to stop him split pushing, and he's going to have to back off. If you can hold them to a team fight mid without overcommitting and just kind of like running into them and inting, Tryndamere will solo push lanes in, and he will get towers, and he will eventually get in inhibitors, right? So I'm gonna see if that's what plays out, but that should be your game plan right now. You want to keep them mid as much as possible to allow Tryndamere to split push. Because see how they went to go answer Tryndamere, and you guys got a free tower. So now they're like, oh shit, there's 4 people mid. I need to go back to mid, and that allows Tryndamere to split push, right? Because Tryndamere is strong enough where he can 1v1 any of them. Even under tower because of his ult. So they need to send at least 2 people to answer Tryndamere. If they need to send 2 on him, that gives you a 4v3 mid, which means you guys can take mid tower. So the other team is going to be in this eternal struggle of like, do we send 4 mid to match and let Tryndamere split push, or do we stop Tryndamere and let the 4-man mid push in? So your job right now is to keep the 4-man mid and to keep Tryndamere bot, and those are your 2 ways to create pressure. This big team fight mix is not good. This is what they want. They are good in a 5v5. Your team previously split it up into a 4v4 and a 1v1. The other team can't answer the 1v1 Tryndamere. So their really option is a 3v4 in your favor and a 2v1 that's about even. So that's why you want to split the map. That's why you want people here and you want Tryndamere here. Where you're going to move and make this team fight happen, that's what you don't want, because that puts the game back on even grounds. A 5v5 is a completely even game. A 4v4 and a 1v1, you guys win the game. So you need to be pinging your team to stay mid and to keep mid and to force Tryndamere to get his alone time. Because now you guys just lose a team fight and get caught out. And you just lost your entire advantage. And again, that wasn't necessarily your fault per se, but it's just like, you're a part of the team. That's a collective, right? So you could have pinged more, you could have ran away more, you could have targeted the tower. You can try and do these things to influence your teammates to make the right decision, and in the end, if they all run away and don't do it, don't follow them. Stay mid. You're supposed to be mid. Is not entirely your fault, but it's also you're not entirely unfaulted, right? Like, you were part of the team that made that decision. That was a preemptive ult, but yeah, at this point they got Baron now. That the game's gonna end here. I'm not saying anything more because the game's over at this point. They got Baron, they're man up, they won the last team fight, and you guys just got caught out. So this game is basically over. But what I want to point out is that even though you guys were behind most of the game, like I pointed out in the gold earlier, there was a point in time where you were ahead of gold, you were winning the game, and you had more towers to take left over. So your gold lead was going to grow if you kept pushing. But you guys made one big team fight mistake where you all went, instead of going 4-1, you all went to this spot and team fought, you lost the team fight, and they came back off that and won the game. If you didn't team fight there, you guys win the game because you're in their base right now instead of them being in yours. And that's the unfortunate reality of League, is that when games go on later and later, the death timers get longer and longer, and more can happen when one person dies because the team fights are now unbalanced. And that's why a lot of games feel like once they get past like 30 minutes ish, it's not which team is better, it's which team has the kid that gets caught out and messes up and then dies. And because the death timers are so long, now the other team just steamrolls whatever objectives up and they win the game off that. So that's a big theme that I want you to remember too. Whenever you get to a game that's going late, it does not matter anymore who's winning and who's not. The team that doesn't get caught out is the team that is going to win almost every single time in solo queue right now. So try and keep that in mind too. Yeah, that's the game. All right, dude. So overall, like I said, the game was fine overall. There weren't too many like glaringly obvious things. Like you didn't come in here and int the whole game, right? But at the same time, there were things you can improve. There were things to work on, and I know I talked a lot this video. I'm actually gonna figure out how long this video lasts, but hopefully there were some ideas in here that you were able to understand, and hopefully I explained them well enough that you know what I'm talking about. And if you try to apply these in your own solo queue games, and even if you go back and you play a couple more games and then watch your own replay and try to apply the ideas that I'm giving you into your own replays, you can point out the mistakes yourself, or you can point out the things yourself, or you can start to see maybe something that you missed during the game that you see during the replay. And you're like, oh, I could have done this here, or I should have done this, and you'll start to be able to teach yourself. And that's when you will start to improve and start to climb. So good luck, dude. I will send you this soon. It should be up later tonight. And any questions or comments, just feel free to reach out to me and I will get back to you.